Hello and welcome to Quest Me, your weekly review show of everything Star Wars. My name is Josh, and I am your forever host and the creator of the Twist My Arm Network, the network that brings you Quest Me, the network that brings you Sudden But Inevitable and Marvel Canon Madness and Twist My Arm and all sorts of other shows, Best Flicks with Ricky D. Go to twistmyarm.net for information on all of those shows. We, as Quest Me, go live on Tuesdays at around 8 to 8:30 Mountain Time. Although tonight we are a little bit earlier. Normally, we go at around 8 Mountain Time. You can find us on Twitter at QuestMeTMA. And of course, this season, we are talking all about the new Star Wars series on Disney+. It's called Andor. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And before we talk about episode 9 of Andor, which is called Nobody's Listening, I do need to introduce my lovely co-host and real-life hero. As always, his name is Justin. How are you doing today, sir?
Get it? Nobody's listening?
Oh, jeez. You're already starting with this crap. It's too early in the show for this.
You know, I was watching the intro video and I got an issue. Your photoshopping ability to fix your own photo and have the highlights of your headphones and were great. And then it comes to me and I'm looking at it, it's all lopsided. I'm like, oh, I can see Josh cares about what he takes time in.
Send me a new headshot, Justin. Send me a new headshot. I could just go pull anything from Facebook if you want. I could go do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
All right, I'm going to do that for next show, and then you can, I don't know, complain about that Photoshop job, too.
I'm kidding. I love you.
No, I do feel like your screen, though, is a little empty, and I'm going to work on that for next week. I'll tell you what, bud.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be so much fun. Welcome back to the show. It's great to have you back, as always. We are so close to the end of Andor. We're on episode 9, and there's only 3 episodes left after this.
Wow.
So we're very close to the end of the season, and a little break for Quest Me, kind of. Obviously, we have other things planned out.
Big things.
But for the time being, there will be a little break. So anyway, let's introduce the 2 guests that we have today. They are brand new to Quest Me, and it is so great to welcome them in. First of all, we are going to start with Claire. How are you doing today, Claire?
I'm good. How are you?
We are doing great. The only thing that's not great is that Raiders flag up behind you.
It's representing. I had to represent being, and I know you're being that we're both from Colorado. I had to just.
That's all. That's it.
I love and I hate it.
Just know that when I'm glaring at the screen.
But wait, there's more. You underestimate the power of.
That's just blasphemous. See, now you're mixing Star Wars with that. Oh, I just can't.
Like I said, I love and hate it.
I can't handle it.
Yes.
Well, it's great to have you on the show, Claire. We've been talking about doing this for a while, and I am so excited to have you on. I have known you for about 20 years now, so
yes, been a long 20 years.
Good to see, old friend.
Yes, it's good to see you too, man.
I'm excited to talk some Star Wars for sure. The other guest that we have coming on tonight is another new friend. He's popped into our chat a couple times. His name is Jake. How are you doing today, sir?
No one is listening! That's how he does it. Hey, everybody. No one is listening, Lucid! I'm just listening. He screams at Andy.
Andy, why haven't we called Andor Andy this whole season? What's
it goes
wrong
to Andy
with us?
Circus. I mean,
but why haven't we called Andor Andy?
I don't know. He looks like an Andy.
I feel like he does look like an Andy.
Pull it off.
Well, anyway, Jake, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm great. I'm great. My first podcast ever, and I'm excited as hell.
Excellent. I know we're popping a couple podcast cherries on this show, so that's pretty fun. Yeah.
We'll be gentle.
Yeah.
Please.
They say you never forget
Train wheel me through.
I do want to thank the people in the live audience watching us. There's a few people in there. Say hello so I know who's in there. But hello to all of you guys. Like I said before, we do go live on Tuesdays for the Andor review show. Gosh, this week I have kind of a bit of a thing here. I got this package in the mail.
Oh.
And okay, first things first, I gotta say, I'm gonna open this while I'm talking about this. But so I got this from a very dear friend of mine. He's actually on the screen right now, and I'm very excited to get this package. But I do gotta say, Justin, you know how I know you're an adult?
What?
Because you have your own like return address sticker that you post on things.
Oh. My age.
That's my wife.
Yeah, that's how I know you're old.
That's leftover shit from our wedding like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Blame it on the wedding. No, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's I had to laugh about that because I was like, oh man, that's like something my grandma did, having the stickers of her return address and all that stuff. But I thought this would be a lot of fun to. Oh my god! I thought it would be a lot of fun to open this up, and boy, am I correct! Look what we got! It's the little B2 emo droid.
No way!
Oh man, Justin, I love you, dude.
Beautiful.
You buddy.
I can't.
Round of applause for this man.
This is great. This is wonderful. Was this from Disneyland too?
That's from the Create Your Droid Factory.
What?
Yeah, I can't remember what exactly it is, but it's like Droid Factory something. And when I went over there, I saw it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, this is absolutely perfect.
Dang, that's so cool. I thank you, dude. That's amazing. I love it.
You're welcome.
I love him. But I'm speechless. I don't even know where to go from there other than to Andor. Man, I'm gonna be posting this all over the place. You're the best, man. You're the best. So like I said, we are going to be talking about Andor episode 9 today. I do like to ask the guests one little question though, and it doesn't have to be like a crazy long answer or anything. But let's start with Claire. What got you into Star Wars?
So, I'll be honest, at first I used to be like, I don't want to watch Star Wars because my dad, when I was a kid, we watched Star Trek. And so I was like, no, you have to be one or the other, blah, 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 right? So I was always for Star Trek. And so I was very anti-Star Wars until this guy said, okay, you are a nerd. You've played every video game in the history of ever, and you have never watched Star Wars to make your own opinion about it. And I just sat there and went, holy shit, I haven't. So I sat down and I totally did the thing like with like proper people who were fans, fanboys and girl. And we watched 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3.
As you do.
As you do, as you know, this is the way.
This is the way.
And so immediately I became a fan. It was a life changer. I was like, and now I'm very much you can't make me choose between Star Wars and Star Trek because they're both amazing.
That's excellent, and I'm glad that you've come to that conclusion. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, Jake, what about you? What got you?
Mine's not as profound, you see, but I will try. See,
I watched it and I liked it.
I watched it and I liked it. Next. No, what happened?
I got a lightsaber and I loved it. Moving on.
I loved it. What is this? Star Wars. Watch Star Wars. No. What happened was, God, I have the game over there. I actually played a Star Wars video game before I even saw the movies. Those Dark Forces. And I remember playing way back in the day, like Doom and all that stuff, all that crap behind me. And there's a Star Wars game that came out. I loved it, and my uncle told me, yeah, it's Star Wars. I'm like, all right. So I kind of went in reverse. So I watched the movies to kind of understand what was going on, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then, my brother buys me a Vader, flashlight lightsaber, the ones you flick up, and the rest is history. And then eventually I found the books. The Thrawn trilogy was my first trilogy I read, and the first books I read in Star Wars, and I just went from there, and then went down the rabbit hole, and then here I am. And Star Trek is nice. I never got into it, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. It's okay. Don't
I wouldn't
do
even
it.
call myself a Trekkie. Like I
Is it
enjoy the
Trekker?
series.
I thought it was
Or
Trekker.
Trekker. I wouldn't
I don't
like
know. I'm asking.
It is
I've
tricky.
enjoyed the series. I've enjoyed the series like
I
yeah,
know
I don't know.
of things like that and the Borg and all this stuff. Yeah, little stuff. But
What was the
Deep
conclusion
Space
we
Nine
came to?
sucked balls. I don't care who you are.
Whoa.
Well, I don't know. I never watched that. I don't watch any of the
Them's
Star Trek
fighting
stuff.
words.
So
What's that conclusion we came to, Justin, with Jesse? Was it we're Trek sexuals because we like Star Trek and Star Wars?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm writing this down. This is like my
down,
new
write that down
term.
now.
Oh my god.
I think that's what it was. I can't remember the exact
Trek
thing. But
sexuals. Oh my god, this just made my day.
we're gonna have to make a T-shirt that says "I'm a Trek sexual" and on the
I'm
back
Trek
it says
and then
sexual.
have all the all the logos and everything
Hashtag
on it.
Rebel Alliance or something.
Rebel Federation. So like,
Yeah.
or Imperial
like that.
Federation, or whatever you want to, however you want to spin that around.
I think that's gonna have to become a reality very soon. But anyway, thank you guys for sharing your stories of how you became
Yeah,
fans
of course.
of Star Wars. The thing that we talk about on the show every week and every chance we get. Jake, you mentioned the Thrawn series that you read. We are also reading the Thrawn series. That will be part of our break in between.
Sorry.
In between what's now Andor and Mandalorian Season 3, we will have our review of Book 2 of the Thrawn trilogy, Dark Force Rising, with Phil. So that I would definitely look for that coming out in January.
Oh, I will.
Those
Great
books are a ton of fun.
See, I haven't read it yet, so it's all a surprise for me.
Yeah,
it's wonderful. That's
they
what
are.
I love about this.
They are.
All right,
Yeah.
so thank you guys again so much for coming on the show. Thanks for sharing your stories.
Yeah,
that's
thanks for having us.
wonderful. I always love to hear the different ways that people fall in love with Star Wars. So now that all of that introductory stuff is over, let's move on to episode 9 with a little synopsis here. Justin seems to love these synopses for whatever reason.
Because you're so good
I
at
keep
it.
making them.
You've gotten better, too. Don't worry. You've gotten much better.
Well, now I'm like actually working on it. I'm like, I gotta impress Justin. This has got to be good. I can't make this not good. So this week is not as good as last week or the week before, but I'm gonna try it. Things are getting torturous on Ferrix, and Andor is slowly but surely making friends in prison.
Yeah.
Mon Mothma is heading towards a midlife crisis as she works to build a rebellion, and the Empire is really starting to show how ruthless they can actually be.
Oh, you got everything.
Was that
Yeah.
good?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty much.
The reason why I already know why Justin likes them is because like it's that voice that you hear in the back of your head when you're reading The Crawl.
You know what
When you read The Crawl at every single time, of every Star Wars movie, like that's the voice you hear.
I want the guy
time for the Rebel
Clone
Alliance.
Wars. I want the guy from Clone Wars to read
Yes.
the synopses sometimes.
Anakin
Things are getting
Skywalker.
torturous on Ferrix. Yes, exactly.
And he's actually a character in the show, which throws me off every time. Anakin, we must go to the.
He's Bradley D. Baker. He's the guy that plays the clones, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so.
Here's a good segment. Your synopsis is that scrolling up, and then we have to guess. Do it.
That'd be
Crawl.
Maybe
There's
for
a
next
crawl
season.
like right
There you
here.
go.
It goes up.
Let's try it for next season. I don't know how that would work this season, considering we only have 3 episodes left. But we'll workshop that one. This episode is directed by Toby Haynes. It is written by Bo Williman and Tony Gilroy. This is that 3-part kind of series that's going on. So I believe this next episode should be the actual prison break, and it should be directed and written by the same 2 people. And then the final episodes will be, I believe, done by Tony Gilroy, directed and written by Tony Gilroy, the actual showrunner. So Tony Gilroy, if you guys or people don't know, he's the guy that did Rogue One, and he crushed it, and he's absolutely crushed this entire season of Andor. I can't speak highly enough about it. There are just so many good things to say about Andor. Obviously, Obi-Wan was awesome, too. All of these shows have been great, minus The Bad Batch. But all of these shows have been wonderful. And Andor is no exception because it's just, it's different. You know, it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, what have been your thoughts on Andor leading up to this episode so far?
I like it, and just anyone watching, I understand, like in a positive way. I understand why someone might not like it. 'Cause such a certain style. It's a certain style, but it's not. It's a something. It's something a new coat of paint for like Star Wars. It's not a really Star Warsy, not pew pew and vroom vroom kind of thing with the lightsabers. But I like the idea, and it started off like the first 3 episodes started off a little slow, a little boring, but it picked up. Especially now, up until the last episode that we're talking about now, that really things really got real in that, and you see how ruthless Palpatine has made things, or Sidious, excuse me. So,
Same
and
thing.
yeah, it is the same thing, but
Claire,
same
what
thing,
about
but
you? What have you thought about Andor up to this moment?
So, the first few, like Jake said, the first few episodes were pretty hard to get in. But what I really appreciate uh, is seeing this different style that's basically introducing um, new planets, new things. Like I personally am kind of tired of seeing, stuff that like, oh, look at that thing. Oh, look, there's that guy. Or, it's like they have all of these new storylines. And I'm really excited that Andor has really just been like, you know what, we're open to do stuff. Let's go with it. Let's just go completely out there. Let's get away from, those, oh, there's that one droid from, episode 3 or whatever. So I'm really appreciating that there's this new open door and open window for new content, new history, as it
Yeah.
were.
And that's funny. That's been a talking point for this show the whole time because
Yeah,
there's been a lot
exactly.
of new planets and new things introduced that we're not used to. And I ask Justin every time, like,
I was
what do
about
you
to
think
say.
about what do you think about not seeing the same planets we're used to? And most people seem to really enjoy it. I personally would love to see some planets that we've heard on screen but never actually seen. Dantooine, for
Sure.
instance, would be a cool one to see.
yeah,
And just
Alderaan, sure, yeah,
all. I
yeah,
mean, we saw
absolutely.
Alderaan on Obi-Wan.
Right,
We got to see
right,
that finally.
right.
But uh,
um
what did you got, Jake? What did you
oh
got, Jake?
yeah. No, I was gonna say that what she was saying. It is a nice direction, and it's this great escape idea in Star Wars is pretty cool, and yeah, like you said, there are planets I want to see again, or that you've heard about but never see, or just brand new ones. Especially the planet when the leader of the ISB is I forgot her name. I'm sorry, but she's
Deidre.
torturing teacher. She's torturing uh
Bix.
Bix
Bix.
Bix and sorry Bix, and they say they got this wailing cry from a species on the outer rim, and I actually kind of want to see that planet now, Alvis. I
Yeah,
actually want
whatever.
to see it.
I can't
I forgot
remember
what he
what
said.
planet he was talking about, but
Some moon on the outer rim.
yep,
Like, oh, and
yep.
one before we go on, I'll make this quick. One planet I want to see in live action is Nar Shaddaa. I want to see the Smuggler's Moon. I really want to
Oh,
see
okay.
that. I mean, it
Okay.
doesn't be in this show. I mean, it can. They
I'm
can
sure we will eventually. I would
eventually.
assume.
I would
I
like
mean,
to.
Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau love pulling from legends, and they love
Oh,
doing that kind of
which
stuff.
I'm
See, I
so
don't know what
grateful.
planet, Jake, you're talking about.
Nar Shaddaa. That's
Yeah.
the Smuggler's Moon. That's been in Star Wars forever. It's like Coruscant only run by Hutts.
Yeah,
Basically, it's like the crime
I think it
the
was in
crime
Clone
plan.
Wars. I think it
Was
was
it?
in the movie Clone Wars.
Well, I've been also.
I
the
Which
I
movie?
movie,
think
not the series.
Live action or the
no, the
animated?
cartoon movie,
The
Okay.
cartoon movie.
the one that came
Yeah.
out in theaters, and they had to
Right.
like rescue the baby Hut. It was terrible.
It was
It was
terrible.
terrible, but we all own a copy of it. I know I do.
I
I
don't,
do too.
but
I don't, but
Disney Plus does, and I got Disney Plus. So.
I have her Disney Plus. Thank you, Claire.
Whoa! No! Everybody here pays for their own Disney Plus. Let's move on from
Yeah.
there.
Continue.
This episode, I called it "Serious as a Massive Stroke" because that's kind of what
Yes.
happens. And this episode is extremely serious. Like, this is kind of the episode where things start bubbling over, right?
Mhm.
You know, we start getting the Deidre's not fucking around. She's gonna torture anyone to get whatever information she wants. Cyril is like the creepiest voyeur I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, you got
Dude.
Mon
So
Mothma is like starting. Go on.
Was he hitting on her? Like, was that
See,
like
we'll get
him?
there.
Like,
We'll get
okay.
there.
Yeah, I want to say something about that too, but we'll get to
We'll
it.
get there.
Okay, moving on.
Yes.
Moving on.
But then you got Mon Mothma that's like questioning all of the decisions she's made. Andor is like really realizing that he's not going to be able to get out of this prison, so he's got to figure something out. Like this is where everything starts coming to a head. And obviously the next episode is I'm hoping that the next episode is where, you know, there's the big prison breakout, there's all sorts of things, and all these stories are going to just clash. You know, you got Deidre's story that's going to clash because she's now hunting Andor. Vel is hunting Andor. Their stories are going to clash. Luthen is out there now looking for Andor. Last time we saw him, he was flying. Mon Mothma is basically just holding everyone at bay. So it seems like this is just setting everyone up for some sort of failure. You know, like most Star Wars shows set everybody up for the success, to be the hero, to be the, you know, whatever. And I feel like Andor, and the way that this guy, Tony Gilroy, likes to make movies, he likes to be very grim about it, dark about it.
I wouldn't say that he's setting him up for failure. It seems like more of an explosion. We don't know what's going to happen.
I guess I could say that, yeah. But, I mean, and maybe not so much failure, but yeah, you're right. Like something bad, something big, something that will be detrimental to all of their lives, you know?
Yeah.
A huge catalyst.
I see what you did there. But no, because Andor, what I really appreciate about him in this show and also in the movie, the Rogue One, he's very cutthroat. Like he'll do what he has to do to get things done. Like he shot that guy in Rogue One, and then not this episode, not to talk about other episodes, but there's a couple episodes before. The guy's like, "Hey, I don't have a sister, I don't have this. Let's just leave." And he immediately doesn't talk to the guy. He goes, "Boom!" Like, yeah. Why would
cold-blooded?
Yeah, like what? That's very cold-blooded. And
so I have a feeling he's gonna make a decision that's gonna make him the way he was in Rogue One, very cold and very just go, don't stop. You know. Something's gonna happen at the end.
I don't think he was as cold in Rogue One. I think he had more of a heart by then.
By the end, yeah. But
even though he was getting he had a heart, but he knew when to take care of actual business. So right now is him learning the taking care of actual business, and I think as the series goes on, he's gonna learn what that heart means and what the rebellion aspect means.
Yeah, I think he's learning where he's experiencing why his ruthlessness is gonna like come to light or come to a head, you know, or
right.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say he's experiencing what the Empire does at a low man's level, so he's getting that hate for him or that drive.
Exactly. And so I want to just kind of take this scene by scene, because this show's really good about bouncing between stories, right? It's just like any other Star Wars movie. There's 6 different stories going on, and we're bouncing between them constantly. So what I like to do is just kind of condense them all into one big topic and talk about them like that. So first thing is the Deidre stuff. Like I said before, she's not messing around getting what she wants. And she did that with Pac, whatever they want to call him.
Salmon.
And just tortured the crap out of him. And basically, I mean, she's crushing the whole research thing, let's be honest, right? Like she's figuring things out in the best, most, like, imperialistic but deadly way possible, I feel like. And her first speech to Bix, like the last thing she says is, "You're in my net, Bix." And it's just like goosebumps, right? You're like, oh.
You don't want to bore
me.
Even
the beginning of the episode, I think I counted it, and she's got like this like 6-second long pause before she does the, you know,
she cracks her neck.
Dude, I don't know. She's just got this like the actress herself is like like at first I was like, I don't like you, and now I'm like, ooh, I really want to see where this arc is going. Like I'm really
Yeah.
really excited to see what happens with her.
Yeah, and I love that crack in the neck. Like that's the first thing you see of Deirdre in this. The opening shot is her just going,
Yes, just
"All right, let's do this."
All right, time to go. Let's go.
And she she pulls no punches when it comes to this. Like she's frighteningly good at her job.
Yeah.
Basically is what it is.
So
Yes.
what I'm really excited to find out with her is, I mean, obviously same thing like we were just talking about with Andor, like experiencing his ruthlessness and like this is him like, coming into like where his like vengeance is going to be coming from. Maybe obviously Daedrus got like this like backstory, right? Like why is she such this vengeful person with, whether it's the rebels or whatever, so like obviously something bad happened, whether like, and I'm, I don't know if it's like, because like this dude might be have been coming on to her and how she immediately was like, like, no, like,
I don't need
so
no man.
I don't yeah, exactly. Like she was just like
Much.
this very much like this independent woman of just like, I don't know. I'm really excited to see like what this like backstory is that's made her such a like a vengeful bitch. Like why is she this like,
Yeah.
and where does she get this like, I mean, for lack of better words, like this like, I mean, like Princess Leia had that same, just like that like that mentality about how she carried herself. You know what I mean? Just that
The
Cold
presence.
confidence.
The
You know.
HBIC syndrome.
Sure, totally.
Yeah.
HBIC.
Head
Head
bitch
bitch in charge.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and I agree though, and I love the way that she holds her composure. Like the actress has
Yes.
been wonderful throughout this whole
Yes.
show. The biggest thing that I want to talk about with this, and I want to ask Justin about this, that torture device, Doe.
Ooh.
What did you think about that? I mean, there's not the only thing that I got out of it is that they just blast the sound of screaming children into your brain, basically, and that's how they torture you.
See, I was thinking more of the sound of like dying dolphins and whales.
That's even
that would sort of
worse.
fuck with me. Exactly.
Yeah,
that would
You ever
mess
heard
with
a
me.
rabbit dying? Yeah.
Just like a baby rabbit, though.
Oh man,
Yeah,
That's what I'm
screaming,
saying.
mixed, and they said they mixed it and did stuff to it to make it worse because whatever these creatures that died made Imperials go nuts. So they're like, oh, this is interesting. So they recorded it, and then
this is interesting.
yeah, they did. That's what that doctor. He was all for
Neo-
it. He
He
was like,
right.
Neo-Nazism.
yeah, it was like, oh,
Yeah,
oh, don't worry, the physical restraints are actually going to help you through this. He's all proud of himself, like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that
Jake,
doctor
Jake.
was even worse.
What do you think it sounds like? It's like puppies?
Oh jeez.
No, that's
Oh,
too
gee-
easy.
oh,
It's got
geez,
to
guys.
cut deeper.
I'm getting
than that.
dark here.
No, that's like surface dark. We need to like cut in more.
Whoa. The
Oh,
puppies
baby
is
seals?
already dark enough. What are
But
we thinking here?
I don't know.
What's
See,
going
that's
on?
the thing. I'm trying to think. This is Star Wars, and these guys have imagination. They're going to the outer rim, and anything can be living out there.
It's
so
just
at
a
this
bunch
point,
of screaming Ewoks and Porgs is what it is.
Oh.
actually, the porgs, I don't care about the porgs. They can scream all they like.
The
but I
pork
can,
looks like a good chicken, though. When
yeah.
you saw it roasted. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie.
Yes.
Chewy
Honestly,
has
what I
a
think
culinary.
it's
A
a
good
mix.
Cornish game hen.
That's what I
Yeah.
want
There
for
you
Thanksgiving.
go.
It's a mix of probably dolphins screaming, definitely like a rabbit dying alive,
No, that's
plus like maybe like
Say that
nails on a
again.
chalkboard. Say that again.
A rabbit dying alive. This is why you're my friend, Jake.
man.
I'm
This is
sorry, I am a
this is
dark
going-
individual, ladies and gentlemen. Hi,
This is
heathen
going
here.
down a path I cannot follow.
Oh,
Oh,
zing!
liar!
Did you like that?
Padme. Yeah, I caught it.
Ah.
Liar!
I hate.
Yeah.
Go
Sam.
with him.
Yeah. See, I do that shit in Sun But Inevitable all the time, and Jesse just rolls his eyes as hard as he possibly can. But yeah, so this torture device absolutely is like the scariest thing I've ever seen. The way that like she screams about it, the way that they film that whole scene is
Yeah.
just incredible.
It
Yeah.
looks like it latches onto your head. It seemed a little
Yeah.
too
Right.
eerie for me.
Right, it's
I'll
like a
let you guys
VR
talk.
device that just like
Yeah,
sinks into
yeah.
your brain.
That's what I was wondering, if it's like more like the telepathic thing, so like it maybe doesn't even make a sound, it's literally just projecting the sound through your brain.
I
And
think
that
you're
would make
right.
sense why you're drooling and there's like snot and like, you know, their eyes are like, you know, bloodshot, you know. And so
I
I
think
mean,
you're
you can do
right.
a lot of things with like this like telepath like
It's didn't he say it was
a
more of like a
thing.
neuro wave?
Yeah,
that,
like a
mess with your brain or
neurotransmitter of
something
some
like that?
sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man was
And
proud
that's
of his
messed
job.
up in itself.
Yes, he
So-
was.
Right?
He
Like that's
was
already
very-
manipulating.
Yeah.
He
But,
gets results. God damn it.
He did. He did. But
What were we
anyway,
gonna say, Jake?
I was gonna say like this device. Now, I'll make this super quick. Okay, it's kind of a little off topic, but this device reminds me of something I saw in the Old Republic MMO. It's called the Ravager, where it's a Sith. Matter of fact, it's the same way, but it sticks to your head like right here, and it'll empty your mind. As in, you ask a question, and it amplifies pain, and they can't lie. They just tell you whatever. You have to ask them quickly, because once their mind is empty, they're just a shell.
Oh,
And now, obviously, this device is way different from that, but
it kind of works the same way.
it goes on your head like that. And I'm like, oh, that reminds me of the. But yeah, that's just a little tidbit.
Dang.
Please continue.
I love
sorry.
that. There's not a whole lot else other than why she's getting tortured, and Deidre's clearly looking for information on all these different Imperial goods that have been stolen or sold through Ferrix, the planet, and it's just it's fun to watch again the Empire just seceding to this like terroristic ways of doing things.
You don't see the side of Star Wars. You don't see the side of the Empire. You think about it, but you never really think about it too hard about this side of the Empire. You think of all like the explosions and the pew pew pews, but you don't think of like civilian life and like what can really go down and like how so far Palpatine has gripped this
how
Empire.
it affects the normal person.
Yeah.
Well, this is really the first example where we have an indication to view that early dark side of the Empire.
And
that's why it's cool.
It's been a wonderful watch to see everything that spiral out of control.
Right.
And this is a great segue into Mon Mothma's scene where she's talking to the Empire, basically talking to all the different senators and stuff. And she's like proclaiming her case that the Empire is bad and they're starting to tighten their grip. Everyone's like, nah, shut up. And they just like turn their lights off and they leave.
Long live the Emperor! Blah, blah,
they
blah,
don't
stuff
care.
like that. Yeah.
And you're just seeing this like fall of the galaxy basically. And everybody just giving themselves to the Emperor and letting them take care of things. It's like that. It's like everyone just wants someone to take care of them, basically, is kind of how
it's interesting to watch this like shift happen for sure, where it's very like this is the like downfall of the Jedi Order. This is what's happening in the political standpoint after the Jedi have gone.
She
so it's really
actually
interesting
mentions
to see this.
even while she's having her speech, she mentions that they're in a temple. Like she's still considering that space a temple, a republic temple, where people actually discuss and make things work throughout the galaxy. And everyone is just denouncing this temple and being like, "Nah, we're good. Palpatine can do it for us. We'll be fine."
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean by that. Like the decline of the Jedi Order. It's like it's very interesting that. Like they're turning away from the quote unquote religion, you know what I mean? And that's how I took that. It was very very cool.
And that whole scene with Mon Mothma was really cool. I know we'll get into that with our segments. But I wanted to ask Justin, since you have this newfound love for Mon Mothma, how did you feel watching Mon Mothma get completely rejected by not only the Senate but also her daughter and kind of family as well?
First off, with the Senate, there was one person rooting her. Let's hear the senator. And I don't know who it was, but I watched things with subtitles.
He probably disappeared after that.
Some guy from
he is no longer in his 60s. But I watch it with subtitles, so I always see these things. But to watch her get shut down, that was pretty obvious. We all knew that was going to happen. Like I'm trying to remember. Padme said it a while ago. We're watching.
This is how democracy dies.
Thank
with
you.
Thunderous applause.
And it's just watching the corruption just fizzle out and take people to actually care.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting seeing that.
What
was the other half of your question?
her family, and
her
it was
family.
not only like it wasn't only like the first comment that her daughter says, "Oh well, Dad lets me do whatever I want," but then also when they're having dinner later, and Dad is asking Vel those questions. Like Vel is Mon Mothma's family, and this dude has zero respect for her at all. Like. Because she's like,
oh, yeah.
I'm heading back to Chandrelia. And he's like, oh, are you going there to find a husband? And she's like, haha, yeah, whatever. And he's like, you're right. There's no one they'd have to be a
your
widow
age.
by now.
No man your age, yeah, stuff like
whatever.
that. Yeah.
And I'm like,
you
damn,
bastard.
that is ruthless. Like,
that's probably the culture,
bastard.
though.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the culture.
Yeah.
Because that got married before even knowing each other at 15, 16.
But I also feel like that was a stab at Mon Mothma and just kind of her family. Like it just seems like that whole family is just taking jabs at her little by little, you know, whether it be directly at her or around her.
So, before big, I guess if you call it a war, I mean, you do, people start to what is called choosing sides, right? You like, it's like, look, here's the line. I'm here. You're, I mean, where are you on this line? And I do believe that, that's what we're seeing in a lot of these scenes, where is your line? Where, who's, whose side are you on? And it's unfortunate. Well, it's not unfortunate. It's actually really cool to watch, how public it is. Like, I mean, like it's happening at their, like, it's like her dinner party to like recruit like votes. You know what I mean? And like, well, you used to be fun, and it's like, well, I'm working, you know what I mean? And just like, I don't know,
run
like
a galaxy, dude.
Right, like I'm trying to do some shit and stuff, right? And like it's very obvious that he's drawing that line, he's putting that like I'm on this side. I'm on the side with the Emperor, then the new, the First Order, or
right. Could you imagine if like a U.S. senator came out and was like, "I'm just trying to do some shit and stuff, all right?" Like,
just trying to do some shit.
I'm trying to do my job here, so please, like.
And then Sparks to join, it's like, hey, like I'm
just trying to get this done,
trying to do some shit, man.
I'm supporting my people. Don't worry.
Don't worry. It's okay. It's okay.
I do totally agree, though, and you're right. She is just trying to do some shit and stuff, and like get things going,
Yeah.
And she's having a hard time, and I would assume that because she's feeling so rejected and feeling so like pushed away from her family, that the Senate makes it even harder for her. Like that she's like, God, I just can't do anything right. And so that brings up the scene when Vel is leaving, and she looks at her and she's like, what have we done, Vel? Like starting to question what she's doing. And Vel comes back. If we had one chimer this week, this would totally be my one chimer. And Vel comes back and she says, we've chosen a side. We've decided to fight against the dark, and we're making something of our lives. Vel really believes in this cause, and she's kind of showing the title as well. Like nobody's listening. They're fighting this thing. They're doing everything they can, and nobody's listening to them at all.
Right.
And so I really, really did love that story aspect. Like Justin was saying, Mon Mothma at the beginning was a little bit boring, but her story is getting more and more intriguing by the episode.
See, I thought it was interesting. She told Vel to play you have to be Bruce Wayne right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes perfect sense. That's how Bruce Wayne keeps his
playing the
identity.
part, and I think that was also kind of like a little bit of like self projection to herself. Like Mon Mothma herself is like, well, fuck, I need to play this. I need to play this role. I need to set myself. If I'm going to stay with my family, if I'm going to stay with this money, this like money transfer thing that she needs to play the role, and she needs to basically.
Yep.
Right. Play the part.
She's telling herself, not only, Vel, you need to play the part, but God, I need to remember that I'm playing a part too.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So you don't get found out. You
Yep.
don't get, they won't find you and figure you out.
Yep.
You have to play
I've
them.
loved Mon Mothma. I've loved Genevieve O'Reilly and the way that she continues to portray Mon Mothma. And
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
so
wanted to-
stoked that we know
wanted
that
to-
she's not gonna die.
Right, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, obviously. And that's the best part about Mama.
That is like my favorite part of this. Is like, oh, you're not gonna die. I
No
do
matter
you
love
are
what.
a
this.
survivor.
I do like that. It's like, oh, you do die eventually. Like Andor, for example. It's like, well, he's gonna break out of prison, obviously,
Eventually,
right?
yeah. And
Like,
Eventually.
but
we
Get
know
out.
this is gonna happen, but just
this was a big
don't know.
subject at the beginning of the season was how do we feel about this show knowing that they're going to survive? Same with Obi-Wan. How do we feel about Obi-Wan knowing that Obi-Wan's going to survive any sort of peril that he's put into? Well,
Right.
the way you get around that is putting in fantastic side characters and surround them with a cast of characters that you don't know
You
could
fall
die
in
or
love
not.
with. Yes.
Yeah.
And they've done a good job with that. What did you got? What did you have? What did you got, Jake? What is wrong with me?
Should I just great segue to the episode. Nobody's listening. This guy is not listening to me. Had to.
God.
Thank you so much. I had to. Well, I was going to talk about Mon Mothma. And I've always found her to be a very interesting character that Legends Legends went into like in books and all that stuff, but we never really got her on screen as much, like in the movies. But she was always this interesting character, always in the leader or the leader of the rebellion, trying to like get things going, always doing everything. And I like this. I like what they're doing with her through episode 3 and then this series of her trying to get things moving and how she's got, and at the end there, she was talking to, I forgot his name, but said that we're going to have to go back to your home planet and talk to this guy. He's a thug. Well, he has money.
Davos.
And he doesn't,
Golden.
Davos Skolden. And I got a feeling that she's going to have to like bend her ethical boundaries. She doesn't want to.
Mhm.
But whoever this guy is.
I couldn't find any information about Davo. He's a brand new character. So
probably
unless
is.
it's like a code name for somebody else, then
It's
a new
Hondo.
character. So
We're getting
I-
Hondo.
freaking hope so, man. I hope
Hondo.
so much.
Hondo
Hondo.
Naka!
That was like what I wanted. That's what I called at the beginning of this season. Is I want Hondo to be put into live action. Like, please,
Yes.
just do it.
He walks in like.
Just do it. Hey, it's me.
Hey. Josh is
Mon
like,
Mothma's just like, damn it.
Why can't you die on the other rim?
So I am excited to see who that is, though. If it's just
Yeah.
some random character, great. But if it's a code name for somebody else, even better.
Right.
Even better.
I think as far as Mon Mothma goes, that's about the gist of
Yeah.
her story. So we talked a little bit about Cyril Figgis, but we didn't go too far into his story. There's not a lot with him either. He gets scolded with his mom, but then kind of shoves her words down her own throat by telling
got
her
a
that he got
promotion.
promoted, and she's like, "Oh, my bad." But then he reverts right back to creepyism and goes and stalks poor Deidre.
Yeah, like
I still don't know if I
this-
like this guy or not.
I don't.
Okay,
like,
my question is, do you guys think he was hitting on her, or do you
Oh, you've been
honestly
waiting
think
this whole
that was
episode for
him?
that. That's right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh.
You have Claire has the floor. Go ahead.
No, I'm honestly curious because like at first I was like, this motherfucker is not doing what I think he's doing. Like, is he like really like propositioning her like outside her work, right? Like it creeped me out. So I watched the episode again because we do.
As you do.
And I
As we
probably
all do.
watched it 4 times by now. But
This
then I
is
was
the
like,
way.
maybe this guy is literally because he's living at home with his mom, and like maybe they're in and the like little rift that like he had with her. Maybe he is this just like shut-in kid that just like was like socially awkward and like truly just wants to say thank you to this woman. Like he's like really like, no, seriously, thank you. Like it's not that you're redeeming me, but I just saw what this guy is capable of, and it scares me, you know.
I see where you're coming from. So my notes, verbatim, this is what my notes say. What a weirdo. Did he just profess his love to Deidre? Quotes, I never lie to you. Quotes, just being in your presence. I think they're going to hook up by the end of this show. I think Deidre and Cyril are going to end up hooking up somehow. And because I seriously think that Deidre gets off on this. Like, by the end of it, we're going to realize that, like, she really likes this kind of, like, effort
cat and mouse
from a
game.
dude. Yeah. Yeah, like, no one's ever approached me before because, you know, look at my face. But this guy just came right up to me and was like, yeah, you know, I think...
baby, you know, like okay, but he, like, yeah, no, I'm up with you. He creeps me the hell out. Like, ever since he was with that police force, whatever, and got their ass kicked and everything, and I'm like, okay, this guy's interesting. And as it went on, I'm like, is this guy like?
So that's why. Sorry, I that's why I'm being like, maybe he's this like socially awkward guy because he's like being honest and like, I'm sorry, ex-military will tell you don't speak the whole truth on your, you know.
Sure.
Of your after action report. My point is, you know, it's like, but like this kid's all, you know, Captain America about it, and like this is what really happened because, you know, and then you guys told me not to say this, and like he like spells it out in his form that like I was even told by my superior to lie.
Yeah.
In his report, you know, so it's. I think
you're onto something. I think you're onto something with the socially awkward because look at that speech that he gave in episode 3. That whole like, let's go get him, gang.
I took that as a lack of experience. He's never walked into live fire or in the trenches.
You're right.
And
He's
that's
probably
his first time.
too.
I go, hey boys, we're gonna go get this. Hurrah!
That guy is totally a
virgin. Not that that's a bad thing.
No. But I mean. Yeah.
Anyway.
Save yourself, kids. Abstinence.
Sorry for like the side tangent about it, like Jake. My bad.
And this is what happens to a Boy Scout when you're an adult.
That's my point. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so we can move on from this.
We'll wrap this up, and we'll do a this or that question, right? And it's gonna be, do you think Cyril? We'll do a two-part question. Do you think Cyril is a weirdo? Yes or no? Do you think him and Deidre will hook up? Yes or no? Justin, yes or no on the first one? Is he a weirdo?
Yes.
Yes or no on if him and Deidre will hook up?
Yes.
Claire, yes or no, he's a weirdo?
I'm going to vote no because I'm going to root for the underdog.
Okay, yes or no, him and Deidre are going to hook up?
Probably. Let's say yes.
Okay. They're bumping uglies.
Jake, yes or no, he's a weirdo?
Very.
Yes or no, they're going to hook up?
I'm hoping no. I'm hoping that he tries and then she kills him or because she's an Imperial
or kills him.
But she does look like the dominatrix.
Hey, listen, I just really wanted to know if I could take you out on a date, maybe. No, you cannot.
Did Deidre shoot first? That's all I need to know.
She always shoots first before the guy gets in the room. She's already popping off.
This is great.
See,
great wrap up to that tangent.
Yeah,
but
honestly, they probably will hook up. Yeah, but I'm hoping she does the Black Widow thing where she does it then. Okay,
hey, look, I'm now hoping for that too, but it sounds like everyone's on the what should we call this? What should we call this new love affair train? It's
creepy. It just creeps me out. Like
Deidris?
Deidril.
Deidril. And it creeps me out.
All right, Team Deidril over here on Quest Me. Team Deidril.
For the record, I'm anti-Team Deidril, but I have a feeling it's going to happen. It's just...
Yeah. So let's go to the main part of the show, which happens to be the title character, and that's Andor and his story. again, not a lot going on here. We're just seeing him develop relationships with his fellow prisoners. We're seeing him start to ask more questions to get kind of a little more information and, like, obviously figure out how he's going to break out of this prison. I really feel bad for Olaf, who, by the way, is played by Christopher Fairbank. He is the broker in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he is also Dr. Magdelberg in The Fifth Element. Just a little
That's
tidbit
where
there.
he's from. I was recognizing him.
Yeah.
I couldn't
So,
place him.
I really like him, and I'm sad about his character, but
Mhm.
his whole story arc and his point of this is definitely to move on, to move the story along, and
Oh,
to get
absolutely.
people on board with what Andor wants to do. Because this whole episode, Andor's going at Gollum or Snoke, whatever the hell his name is, and he's like trying to get him to tell him how many guards are on each floor, right? He's like,
Gollum.
He's like, come on, Gollum, just tell me how many guards on each floor. And he's like,
No,
no, you will never know how many preciouses are on the floor. Like,
Focus on your day.
that's yeah. So
and then
I love that. I love that this whole episode is just him trying to befriend Andy Serkis, and it was a really fun kind of cat and mouse game between those two, because he's also, not only is he trying to befriend him, but he's also trying to befriend the people around him. That first scene where they switch spots and Andor decides to blame that on the other guy, and the other guy gets all this praise for switching spots. Andor's doing this, like, it's a manipulative thing, and it's definitely something that guys do, I feel like. Something to make you look better, even though someone else looks good too. You know what I mean? It's a very like, you owe me now, motherfucker, kind of thing.
yeah, it is.
And so
Straight up.
it's, again, he's sneaky.
Yeah,
I like
he
him.
knows what he's doing.
He's a hero, but I think he's a bit of an anti-hero at the same time. Like, he'll do whatever it takes to get the job done, and
I think he's
totally cool with that.
anti-hero, just straight up.
He's
Like,
a
not like
great
Punisher
Jedi.
level, not like a Punisher level, or like that crazy, but I believe he is an anti-hero to a point, only to a point where, like, hey, let's take the money and run.
He reminds me kind of like a in a weird way, from the Watchmen Rorschach character, a hero, but like knows how to get his hands dirty and will get his hands dirty.
Yeah.
Agree.
But not necessarily like a Punisher where he's just going to kill everyone no matter what.
Right, and that's what I was just
Where he
about to
just
say. I
goes-
was like, but not necessarily like Deadpool, where he's just like,
Whatever.
Tommy Chonka.
just like, as he's, I don't know. So anyway, yeah, I really am. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what he's gonna do.
I'm excited for the prison break that's inevitably going to happen, because
we've watched 3 episodes of just like, what do they call it, foreshadowing, like obviously the boots are coming into play, like obviously the elevator is coming into play, like they've
Super
shown
Mario
that
Brother
little
boots.
yes, and
Yes.
they're talking about the railing on the actual platform, and we've seen the cattle prod thing. Like, obviously all of these like items and these newfound things are coming into play, and I'm really excited to see this like catalyst that's just gonna be this,
it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be epic.
And
I think it's gonna
great.
be a lot more
go
epic.
wrong. Shit's
Of
gonna
course.
go wrong. We all know this. Like, I got a bad feeling about this.
People gonna die.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So.
But I do
All
think
right.
it's gonna be a lot more epic than the escape.
Can we take a bet at the end of this episode of who is going to say I got a bad feeling about this?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Aww.
Andor.
Sad face. I hope
Probably
someone
will,
does.
because I don't know who
hope
told me this. I think
I
it
hope
might have
it's the
been Claire.
droid.
I don't know, but for some reason I remember Claire telling me about this, or someone told me this. I don't know if it was you, but in Rogue One, apparently whoever didn't say it or didn't complete that line dies. That's
He
like
didn't
something.
get to complete the line.
Andy
He
Serkis.
didn't get to complete the line.
I think they're gonna break the mold on that. I don't know though, because they have to say it in every single Star Wars property. it seems like that's kind of a given. So
I haven't heard the scream or the fall down the hole yet.
the Wilhelm scream got retired.
What?
Not yet. Maybe in the prison break. Wilhelm
The
scream.
Wilhelm
It got
scream got
retired?
retired. Yeah, there's something happened recently where that thing got retired. Look it up, Justin.
Okay.
Oh man.
Wilhelm scream
Wow.
retired. I'm pretty sure
I'm
that
writing
like
that down.
it's not able to be used anymore or something, or they retired it in Star Wars or something. I don't know,
That sucks.
but they don't use it.
Anyway, moving on. Sorry. My bad.
So yeah, basically, again, the whole point of this part of the prison is for Andor and his prison mates to realize that the Empire does not give a shit about them. They are not going to release them when they say they're going to, and they're just probably going to kill them, like they did to everyone on level 2. So you find out that the Empire just basically kills all the prisoners, and then if there's some sort of medical issue, like with Olaf, they just give you a death shot. And that's it.
Yes.
Like that. So now
Give him a little morphine.
Yeah. So now Kino is convinced. Yeah, Kino is his name. Kino is convinced to work with Andor now, and that's because he's finally had enough. Like I feel like I would have broke a lot longer ago, like a long time ago, if I was Kino, like having to run that stuff. I feel like I would have been.
Well, think about it. Once you get into this routine of being a robot and you finally get this power a little bit over people, like you'd relish in that, and you just go through the motions.
It's kind of a protection,
especially
in a way.
Like a prison situation, I guess.
Well, I feel
protection.
like that's why he did this. Like, you know, when you first meet him, he's like, I have 217 days, and if you fuck this up, I will personally do, you know what I mean? Like, he's got that Deidre attitude. Like, I swear to God, dude, if you screw this shit up, I will fucking annihilate your ass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know. So I really like that he has that like zero bullshit tolerance to just
I do
from
too.
the beginning.
Andy Serkis, he's good in whatever he does, but I like him in here, like how much authority he has, his cold confidence he has to run anything. All right, how about silence, everyone?
Yeah.
You know, it's just a rumor. Maybe it's real. Maybe it's not.
I don't know if it's necessarily authority, but I think it's like a respect too. Like it's very obvious.
Has a respect
like all like 100, and I think they say it's 100
men or something like that. Yeah.
Floor, 49 on each like whatever room, right?
7 on 7.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like, you know, he's clearly respected in this like this like collective of men, you know, like he's clearly one of the higher respect, not just by authority, but just you know
who he is. Yeah.
Did you find it, Justin?
Yeah, it's been retired since 2018.
Really?
Yeah. Damn. That means like all the new movies or the sequels.
Yeah, so Mandalorian hasn't had it.
They need it in Mando.
Episode 9 didn't have it. The Bad Batch didn't have it.
Aptly named.
It's just in Star Wars films. Wilhelm Scream is only retired from Star Wars films. It's not like completely retired in Hollywood, but they're not going to use it anymore in Star Wars. So it's very interesting.
I still think they're going to say I got a bad feeling about this because it was in Rogue One.
Maybe
it was in Rogue One, and
or they'll say it and go, shut up, you know, like that or whatever.
And actually, to be completely honest with you, they did say it in Rogue One.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Well,
but K2 didn't get to finish the line.
He gets cut
and
off.
He dies.
Speaking of K2, I have a theory.
Yes.
That this is going to end with them getting out of jail. We all know that. But during the escape, they stun one of those robots and they bring it along on their escape. And that's
you think that's K2?
Yep.
K2.
I've been wanting to. This is what I like. Honestly, I could care less about anything else in this series from the beginning. When I found out that this was even going to be a series, I'm like, I just want to know how he meets K2. I don't give a shit about anything else. I just want to know how he meets K2. He's like my favorite character. Love it.
I'm starting to think that Luthen's ship, the ship that talks, is actually going to be K2's consciousness. That they're going to upload Luthen's ship into a K2 droid.
I like
that's interesting.
I like that.
I like that too.
I think that's kind of because it'll be the reverse effect from the L3 droid from Solo getting put into the Falcon. It'll be
Gotcha.
different way of doing
I see your point. Okay.
Okay.
Ooh, I like that idea.
I do too.
Anyway.
So with that, then we're basically at the end of talking about the plot points that happened. I'm pretty much done with my notes. Does anybody have any other notes that they wanted to discuss? Let's start with Jake.
I want to talk about like what they're building in that prison.
Yeah,
What the building? I don't know if they said what it is, but I don't think they did. But my theory is it's Death Star parts, because they're killing a lot of men. I know. Because think about it right now. I know Emperor Palpatine, he's the Emperor, but there is still political heat he has to deal with if this comes out now. Later, it doesn't matter. But now, if it comes out now, he'll have more problems to deal with. Like, why are you making a planet killer? Like, why is that a thing for the Empire when you're trying to, like, put on this facade? Like, oh, we're peaceful, and kind of shoving Mon Mothma off to the side. That would just give her a bunch of points.
Maybe that's why they killed everyone on level 2, because someone found out.
That's what they found out. Either they found out, or the story is real and they made a mistake. Like, oh, he's supposed to leave. And they found out.
No way.
Or either way, this Death Star was built on dead men. I can. Yeah. This has got to be Death Star parts. This is not Star Destroyers. Nothing else.
I would
this
actually.
Got to be Death Star parts.
I would believe that like wholeheartedly, because Andor. This is how Andor probably learns about the Death Star, and figures out that they need to find a way to destroy it, because Andor knows about it.
Does he in the film? In the movie? Like, I remember I don't remember him.
Like, they're all looking for a planet killer.
I think
all
that's
of them
a
are
reach,
looking
man.
for their. I think they're all looking for the weapon, the planet, or the. They're looking for the blueprints to a weapon that the Empire has been building for a long time. They don't know it's necessarily the Death Star until they're on Jeddah, and it gets blown up with Andor on it, flying away from it.
Right.
So
but I think that they're looking for a weapon blueprint.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the movie, until obviously, saw, hands over the, recording or whatever, they don't know what they're looking for. They just know that they're receiving a piece of information that will turn or change the events of the war, right?
Okay.
And it's not until she reveals.
Juno's dad tells her.
What exactly it is. And she reveals it to,
Andor and everybody.
And yes.
Andor.
So he doesn't know what it is, but I do think
there's something out there.
I do think he has, like, that's why he says the phrase, some of us didn't choose, some of us don't get to just choose when it's convenient for us to be a rebel, others were like born into it, or whatever his phrase is. I don't remember what he says exactly.
Yeah.
But,
no, that actually makes a lot of sense. Thanks you. God, what is wrong with me today? Thank you for the clarification.
Massive stroke
on that. I guess, man. My God.
Oh.
Take it from me.
Soon.
They suck.
Too soon. I really liked Ola. I mean, like, again, you're right. I feel like his death. We knew it was coming. Obviously, we saw it a mile away. But what I think's interesting is that I thought that they were going to basically stretch it until like 40 days, right? This is how many days. This is the deadline. We need to have our plan done by this motherfucking day. And so the fact that he dies is like, oh shit, no, we're escaping like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Right? You know, like our plan was like a month from now, and now we're like, I guess we'll just run with it, I guess. So obviously that's why shit's gonna go bad, right?
Right.
So that's
yeah, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how everything falls into place in the next episode. I'm excited for sure.
Yeah.
Were there any other notes that you had, Jake?
Not that I'm on top of my mind. That's the one thing. Well, that's the one thing I want to talk about. Was like, I bet those are Death Star parts, and Palpatine has to keep this secret from a lot of people, other than Vader. Right. It's like there's no one else. Maybe Tarkin, probably Tarkin, and
maybe.
Tarkic. I know by the I have the new Thrawn book. Thrawn technically finds out himself, but that's another thing. But
Yeah, he
anyway,
does.
yeah, he always does. It's Thrawn. But anyway, it makes perfect sense. Like they would just fry a whole level. Yeah, they could
If
have
they
made up that
found out.
story. They
Yeah.
could have made up that story like, oh, he came back from this level. And they found out, so they killed everybody. There's a good chance that's BS. And just okay, make them feel like they're leaving, and then just fry the level. And then
Right.
they rebelled or they did this or just make something up. It's a prison. They make whatever up. But I
And I'm
gotta say those are Death
sure
Star parts. Those have
I'm
gotta be Death Star
sure
parts.
I'm sure that we're gonna find out exactly what parts
Yeah.
those are and exactly what happened to those prisoners
Yeah.
in the next episode or 2.
Mhm.
You know, and it's gonna be a great reveal. So
Yeah. That's my theory, though.
I'm definitely Claire, were there any other notes that you had for this episode that you wanted to cover? Don't forget we do have segments too to go through.
I really like the the whole, what is it, Bix, where they're on, what is it, Ferrix? Is that the planet that they're all on? Okay.
Yep.
So I'm really intrigued to see, Vel's, I don't know if they're married, well, for lack of a better word, her significant other, obviously. She's a badass. I'm really excited to see, what comes out, like what's gonna happen. Like, is Andor's mom gonna get, is she gonna die? What, is she gonna go out swinging? Because this woman is clearly like, 90 whatever the hell and sick, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna go out swinging anyway. Who, how many of these motherfuckers can go down with me?
Oh, you mean Aunt Petunia?
Oh God. Yeah, no, I think I'm really I'm excited to see the whole Vel, her and her mom, or sorry, her spouse, and basically the Ferrix arc. I'm really excited to see where that just like kind of goes, and I don't know.
Sure.
I'm really happy, and I do like the evolution that has happened with Kino, with this whole like, at first he's just like, do not
bad cop
screw
to
with
good
me,
cop.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do not screw with me, bro. I really hope he doesn't die. I really hope he doesn't
Well, he's got to die to
if
create
he's gonna,
Snoke,
he's
so
gonna.
sorry to break it to you, but
Well, yeah, but they never
Yeah.
show his face as Snoke, so I mean.
not till he
Well,
gets thrown into a big vat of acid.
Look at no. Look at oh my God, why am I drawing a blank?
The Joker? I know he's
Anthony
gonna look exactly
Daniels.
like.
No, Anthony Daniels. He becomes a fighter pilot in episode 9.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
that's right.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
they didn't. Nobody wanted to be in episode 9, so they had to ask Anthony Daniels to play 2 parts.
Right. Right. Pretty much. Yeah. And the whole Snoke thing kind of falls on its ears because it's just Palpatine playing a VR game.
Yeah, we don't need to get technical, okay?
Sorry. There's Palpatine going.
Too technical.
Justin, were there any other notes that you wanted to cover before we moved on to segments?
Let's head to segments.
Head to segments, he says.
Go.
Okay. So this week, the first segment that we have is...
He's no good to me dead.
He will not be permanently damaged.
Yes,
rest in
it
peace,
is.
that man.
It is Boba's Bounty, the part of the show where we talk about our favorite new character, ship, droid, planet, anything new that's been brought into Andor. The caveat to this is our guests get to pick their favorite new thing from the entire series, and Justin and I can only pick our favorite new thing from this episode. So let's start with Justin, because we gotta be like particular here.
Okay.
What's your Boba's Bounty for episode 9?
My Boba's Bounty is something we talked about earlier. It's a little controversial, but I feel like it's Smitten Cyril.
Smitten Cyril. You mean Cyril in love?
Yeah, I liked Cyril. Seeing him like all obsessed with her, but like it's not like as much as I want it to be a love connection. It's not. It's really like a show of respect and how she picked up the mantle of when the Empire shut him down, and now she's actually driving. Like, oh, the Andor, yeah, he's bad, and he sees this and he's absolutely respected. Like sees that aspect of her and respects it. But I loved that. Like when I first watched it, I thought he liked her, and I feel like that was a lot of people's initial reactions.
Okay. That was my initial reaction for sure. So that's funny though. What a good pick for that. Smitten Cyril. I love that. Jake, what about you? What's your Boba's bounty for? You could choose anything from this entire series.
Well, okay, it's actually tough because I like Kino, Andy's character. I like him. He's a pretty good character. But I'm also liking Lucen as well because he's very mysterious. And that one when they first met Andor, he's like, I know who you are. He knows everything about him. And you don't know why or how. And I'll pick Lucen here. I can't pick one, so I'll just pick Lucen because he's just a cool character, and he has that shop full of awesome things and a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of these
Yeah.
things, and I won't go into that, but a lot of cool stuff. And he knows Andor from somewhere, and Andor doesn't know who he is, and he knows everything about Andor, and it's very, very peculiar, very interesting. Open up a new storyline there or something like that. I kind of want to know how he knows him and what his background is. You don't know anything about him really. At least I don't know anything about this losing guy. That's my pick.
That's a great pick, and that's been a general consensus for the entire show. Everybody loves Luthen, and so it definitely makes sense. Claire, what about you? What is your Boba's bounty for this series?
I'm gonna go off the wall. And honestly, I really like Vel a lot. I'm excited. I just love the fact that they it's like they got away with it. They got away with the heist. You know what I mean? Like I love that, and that she's, now this how does Mon Mothma say it? Like go play the rich girl or whatever. So I love the fact that she's got like this like money and she's like spending it on her niece, and I'm really excited to see how she gets tied in at the end and how she um, gets looped in. And honestly, she looks a lot like the that lady in episode 9. I cannot think of her name. Give me a second. She says,
you're talking
but
like
she's
Finn's little love interest, the one that everyone thinks
no. It's an older woman, and she's really depressed when Leia's gone. Blah 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 blah. And then at the end, they embrace.
Yes.
They
okay.
embrace. She embraces her spouse, who's also a female character. Right. So like I'm not saying that they make it all the way through, but it's very interesting that they kind of look alike. And there is that huge age gap between, now, obviously we know where we are in the timeline, and episode 9 there's, that would only put so many years, but anyway, the timeline would fit. So it would, I don't know. It was something that I thought of when I was watching. I'm like, oh, she kind of looks like this chick, and ooh, but she's got a female spouse, and ooh, maybe it's the same person. I don't know. Hopeful wishing, I guess. We'll see. We'll see. No, but I'm really excited to see how she plays into this with Luthen again, and is she going to meet up with him? And we'll see. We'll see. Because like you said, Luthen was last we saw him. He was flying away from wherever Saul it was, wherever he was. I don't remember what planet, the new planet that he was on.
Oh, dude, it's so hard for me to remember that. If I don't write it down, I'm never gonna remember.
Yeah. Oh no, totally, yeah. And of course, I didn't write planet names down. Go figure. I tried.
Right.
That's hard to remember.
So those are excellent picks, guys. Mine is just Olaf, my favorite new character. Like he was in the last one, of course, but he was really good in this one.
Yeah.
So I do wanna just bring up Serial in Love, and that's this right here. You're welcome for that.
Oh, look at that.
You spent time on that one.
I actually just made that right now while you guys were talking about your bonus bounties.
Just listen to us talk. Put this right here. Here.
I'll put that on. I'll put that on the Twitters for everyone to see at Questing TMA if you want to see the awesome picture of Serial smitten. But let's move on to our second segment, which this week is. It is the Sarlacc Killer Shot, the part of the show where we talk about our favorite still shot and or scene of Andor.
Nice, Josh.
God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
So let's
nailed it, buddy.
Let's start with Claire's here. Claire, yours comes in at the you said 18 minutes and 56 seconds ish. So I think it's this one right here. Am I right?
Yes.
On that? Perfect.
Yes.
Tell us about this shot and why you chose it.
So, like, this is when he's like, it's like, we know nothing. And I really, really like just the seriousness and the look in his face where he is like really starting to realize, like, oh shit, this is really, really bad, and this is starting to get worse before it's going to get better. I just loved that this was like, it was that, like, it's almost it, because obviously Olaf hasn't died yet, but this is like that almost point where it's like, should I help Andor? Should I help this dude? Like, maybe I should tell him there's 12 dudes, but I don't know. I don't know.
He's realizing right now that he's gonna have to make a choice, basically.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We were talking about that line, right? Like, and like this is his moment of like, where is this line?
Right. Exactly.
Is it me? Is it me? Is it my life, or is it
Yeah.
But I also do like that he was also looking out for everybody.
His facial expressions. The name of this Sarlacc Killer scene or Sarlacc Killer shot this episode is literally facial expressions, because 3 of the 4 of us chose different scenes that have extreme facial expressions, and this is one of them. It's amazing how much these actors can speak through just their expressions. And this is like no different. Andy Serkis doing this, like, oh my god, this is bad.
Yes.
Did I say Circuit? Sorry.
No,
that's good.
Short Circuit.
No, I said Andy Serkis being Andy Serkis, being who he is as just as an actor, and just being able to pull something through eyesight,
Yeah. Excellent pick. Let's go on to Jake here, and let's get to your pick, which is at the 16-minute and 2-second mark. Tell us about this pick.
Yeah. This is just a cool shot. I mean, it just looks really, really cool. When she's talking, and like, all I can see by looking at this is episode 3 when Yoda and Sidious are fighting. Now you just look at that, like, yeah, they were right there, just tearing things up. But at the same time, if you just throw that aside and go, yeah, this is the same. This is like the prequels right here. This is where everybody met throughout those movies. They always came here, like Palpatine becoming a senator, Padme voicing concerns, Queen Amidala, all this stuff, and it's just a cool shot. It's a really cool shot, like how it looks. I just thought it's a cool shot. I saw that, I'm like, that looks really nice. And
I had 2 different shots, because the first one I picked is very similar to yours, and I'll show it really quick. It's literally 22 seconds later, and it's the shot where Mon Mothma is looking at and doing that whole thing.
That's another one too.
This whole scene of the Senate is incredible.
Yeah.
And then here, even in this, you can see the lights starting to turn off. Like people starting to not be involved,
It's actually funny. This shot right here you're showing me, I almost picked this too. That would have been a little awkward. I'm like, oh, we got the same shot.
This is why you guys pick your shots first, because I always pick mine last. So it's perfect.
Okay.
But these 2 shots were very similar and very good at portraying.
And I like this shot too, because it's a different view. You don't see that view I've actually never seen that view from that angle. And it's very haunting, very like it feels like soulless.
Intimidating.
It just feels like it's soulless. Like it's not the same thing as it used to be. Like things just feel bleak.
Off.
Like it's
off.
looming over you.
Yeah. The light feels weird. It just everything in there is just weird and it's perfect. Lighting's good. Everything looks great. It's a good shot.
Yeah. I and both of you guys just shots. Excellent picks. I couldn't think of any better ones. Justin, you are up next at the 27-minute and 28-second mark.
Wait, did you say your second one? I'm sorry, Josh. Did you say your second one?
I have
you
one.
said that
you
said you had two.
I do have two. Don't worry, I got one.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going after Justin. My bad.
I am.
My bad.
Yep.
My bad.
No, you're good.
Just tell me to be quiet. Like
You're good. You're good.
Justin, tell us about your shot here. Another facial expression.
Oh, I don't remember Cyril's mom's name, but this is like the moment where she looks to me.
Figgis.
She looks like a little rodent or a squirrel.
She's
sort of like caught off balance here. Because this is the moment where she's like bitching at Cyril. I think she says something about how she hasn't seen a return on her investment and how XYZ she's been taking care of him. And he's like, oh, I got promotion. And then
she's like, wait, what?
And it's that moment of the what?
And then, oh, I'm so proud. It's like the fakest hug ever. It's like, God, man.
His mom's
just so funny.
I know. Terrible.
Oh, she's
just
horrible.
Again, awkward antisocial child because his mom sucks. I don't know.
I see it.
Argument for it. Yeah.
I see it. You're definitely seeing in these scenes for sure that his mom had a big
huge
influence
role
on his awkward upbringing.
Do you think he went to prom with her?
No way. He wasn't good enough for that. He had to take a cardboard cutout of his mom.
Yes. Okay, I go with Josh on that. Whew, I didn't think about that.
Amazing pick, Justin. Another facial expression. Mine is also a facial expression coming in at the 12-minute mark. It is right when Bix is getting her ass tortured. Getting tortured. And it's like right,
like she looks like she's like dropping a hot one real quick. Like halfway in between dropping. Exactly.
I can't believe I messed that up. But anyway, the way that she looks right here is very, very scary, and it is very torturous, and it's why I picked it, because like it's a split second right when the camera pans up and she starts screaming. You're like, oh yeah, no, that sucks. That's no fun at all. So I had to pick another facial expression because.
And we don't know what's in those headphones. We don't know what we don't know. I mean, we can speculate what it sounds like, but we're never gonna know, and that's all we get. I hope they don't explain it, because I think it's just better for us to just think about it in our heads. Just imagine what that sounds like to make you go crazy.
That's totally something Dave Filoni would do too. Like, be like, oh, let your imagination run wild. Why don't you? Because it's telekinetic or whatever. Or totally some shit he would do.
Yep, and it's perfect. So I really I loved that portrayal of the torture device. I loved the cutscene after that where it fades to the door shutting and goes straight to Andor, and it's just like A New Hope when Leia's getting tortured and the door closes. But anyway, excellent picks, guys. Thank you so much for participating in this week's Sarlacc Killer Shot. We have one more segment before we call it quits, and as always... It's the Tusken Raider. It's the part of the episode where we rate the show. So this week, we're going to rate episode 9 of Andor out of 10 Death Star parts. Let's start with Jake. What would you rate this week's episode of Andor out of 10 Death Star parts?
I would rate this, to get right to it, 7 out of 10. This is why. Because it's a great episode, and there were some like parts where things slowed down a little bit, even though I'm really into Mon Mothma's story. it bounces back and forth a little bit, and there are some slow parts, but it's not hurting the episode or anything. But I give it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 around that area. That's my
Perfect.
pick.
7 out of 10. Claire, what about you?
This is my favorite episode of the series so far because I giggled and then I was like, oh, like I actually was like hurt. So this episode played with my emotions in a lot of different aspects. So in my opinion, I'm in that aspect, I'd totally give it at least a 9, at least,
A
because it's
9.
my
Okay.
favorite out of all of them so
All
far
right.
of the 9 episodes that have come out.
Justin, what about you out of 10 Death Star parts?
Well, I feel like I'm letting everyone down. I'm giving it a 6.
Ooh.
Like, I enjoyed the episode, but I'm still reserving that 10 for probably the ending.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
it was a lot of filler. It was a lot of
Yeah.
build up. Like,
Yep.
I appreciate the detail of the show and where it's going. But yeah, just a 6 for me.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm actually on a 7 out of 10.
Ooh.
So we're all fairly close. So let's see if I did a little bit of math here. We're at a 72% on this episode, which is not bad.
No.
I'll round up and actually go to a 73%. But yeah, so good episode for this week. We're pretty average between 70s and 80s. I don't think we've had below or higher than an 85 quite yet. I'm sure that will change as the season goes on. That being said, that's it. That's all we got for this week.
All right.
I do want to thank everyone in the live chat that was there. I know you were there, even though you weren't chatting with us. I want to thank you all for being there. We, like I said, go live every Tuesday at about 8:30 Mountain Standard Time. And next week, I'll let the video do that. So let's do a bit of a sign off. So the way that we do this sign off, and it never works. I swear to God.
We're gonna get it this time.
But I'm going to say, for Quest Me, I have been your host. And then I'm going to point at you, Jake, and you're going to go, my name's Jake. And then Claire, you're going to go, my name's Claire. And then Justin, you're going to go, my name's Justin. And I'm going to go, and of course, okay? So on and so forth. So, okay, are we ready? So for Quest Me, I have been your host.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Claire.
Yeah, Justin.
And of course, my name is Josh, and we will talk at you next week. May the Force be with you.